Hello there, and happy Pride. Greetings from Vancouver, Canada. Believe it or not, August is still Pride month for Vancouver. So happy Pride, everybody around the world. We are a bit of a late starter, compared to the rest of the world, where June is actually the Pride month, but we are actually still celebrating Pride here. Um, so hello. I am Desiree from Queer.Love.Light, your queer portal of love and light, where I share spiritual musings and practical tools to help everybody enhance their journey, their wellness of spirituality. So today I have a very special guest with me, as you can see next to me, beloved Christiano. And he's coming all the way from the land of sunshine. I won't say where unless he discloses to you. It's one of
Yeah, I'm
my
here in Bali.
yeah, and it's one of my favorite places actually on planet Earth. I've been to Bali a couple of times. As a lot of you know, that I actually hail from Malaysia, so Bali is my neighbor. Well, back in the
Yeah,
day. Yeah,
yeah.
so Cristiano is a queer transformation coach based in Bali, and he has devoted his life to help queers like ourselves to rise above life's challenges and live up to their true potential. So when I met Cristiano, I was so stoked because I truly believe that he is a light worker, a light being that we need so much in this world. And I can't wait to dive into Cristiano's journey so that we can learn more about what he has to offer to the world and how he got here in the first place. So, Cristiano, tell us, how did you become a transformation coach in the first place, and also what took you here? The journey that you were on.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, first of all, Desiree, thank you for having me on the podcast. It was a pleasure having you on my podcast, the Quest podcast, a few weeks ago. It was a really great episode, and I'm so glad that I can now be interviewed by you on your podcast. So I'm super excited for today. But what got me into being a queer transformation coach? So I have been coaching for over 20 years. First of all, I was doing it in the corporate world. I led a lot of large teams in corporate companies. Over 300 was the largest team that I had. And constantly, as you're growing teams and working with people, you have to learn skills to be able to coach people, because 95% of people's problems that prevented them from progressing or doing better in their job actually had nothing to do with their job. It had to do with stuff that was happening internally or at their home. So oftentimes I found that, helping someone deal with their own issues or what they were struggling with actually helped them to become happier, healthier, and then actually do better work as well. So that's where I kind of jumped into getting into the coaching world, was just through, leadership and really wanting to get the best out of people, and people in my team who I almost felt like were my family. So I really kind of honed my skill. And throughout the years as well, I did a counseling degree as well. So I got a lot of background in really helping people and understanding that. So when I kind of left the corporate world about 4.5 years ago, it was in 2020, I kind of, knew that I wanted to help people in our community. I struggled a lot growing up as a young gay man, as a young queer person, especially when it came to my identity. I grew up in an area that was not accepting or had any other, gay or queer people around them at all. Anyone who would have been there would have been completely in the closet. So it wasn't a very, easy environment for someone who was a young coming to terms with their sexuality and their gender expression. And I really struggled with that. I got severely bullied in school almost every single day. And because of that, I pretty much had no friends. I would kind of shelter myself away, and became like a really introverted person. And it took a long time for me to come out of my shell. And one of the main reasons that I kind of pulled myself out of that was I said to myself, you know what, you're currently, existing. You're not living. So there's two options for you. You're either going to start living your life, or it's time to end your life. And I was at a point where I was questioning suicide, because I was really at a dark place, dealing with depression, dealing with social anxiety, the stuff that a lot of people in our community deal with. Because, people in the queer community are 3 times more likely to actually deal with mental health concerns. So knowing that information, going through my journey, it took me 10, 15 years to kind of really pull myself out of depression. I got into I started to get into, to accepting myself, going out and meeting other gay and queer people. But my entrance into that kind of community was also through the party scene. And I had a lot of amazing years, but I also got caught up in, abusing alcohol, abusing party drugs, and just not taking care of myself. So I got to a place where I was really like, 10 kilos lighter than I am today. I was, wasn't sleeping. I was stressed. I was feeling like I had to do everything. And my mind and body was just always in like anxiety and just like stress and overwhelm. And so I had to do a lot of healing. I had to go on a real deep journey. And so I kind of got myself clean and got myself sober and allowed myself to really focus on the inner work. I allowed myself to cry because I was also a person who was so shut off from emotions that I couldn't even let them out. So I allowed myself to heal, allowed myself to let go, and I also allowed myself to regulate my nervous system. And that kind of took me to where I am today, being a coach and knowing those numbers, like I said, 3 times higher for people in the queer community. I said, if I'm going to help anybody, it's people like me or people who are in this community who are struggling, because I feel like, that's the real epidemic or the real pandemic out there, is the fact that people in our community are 3 times more likely to deal with depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, and other mental health issues. So that's kind of what led me to being a transformation coach, helping people in the queer community, because I've been there, I've struggled, and then helping so many people and seeing their change. That's what lights me up. As you said, you can see this is my mission. It really is. Seeing somebody else in our community thriving and working through their stuff, finding relationships, becoming healthy in their life. That's what really, really lights me up.
Yeah, that's it's so inspirational to hear your story because, it's just hard to imagine, you're the little Cristiano not being able to make friends or, talk to other people and introverted. It's just night and day, who you are today. So you are an inspiration for so many people, I'm sure, out there who are watching this. And hopefully will give them a sense of hope, that everybody has a chance of healing, of becoming a better version of themselves, if they
Definitely.
have the right tools and also, the right guide, the right coach, to help them go through the more challenging parts of their journey. So we actually share, some Canadian roots here, and you were actually born in Canada, and you said that you, I believe, moved to London first, and then later on to Australia. So would you say that you spent most part of your life in Australia or London? How did that go?
Yeah, so basically, I was born in Canada. My family were here, living here. My parents and my older siblings. But then, basically, about when I was 1 years old, they moved to England because my dad got a different job opportunity, and they were living there prior to moving to Canada. So he moved back to England, and then I lived there until I was about 8 years old, and then I moved to Australia. And then before I moved to Bali about 3.5 years ago. So I've been basically, yes, living in Australia for over 25 years of my life. Yeah.
Yeah. So, part of my own journey, and I think I might have touched about it, a little bit about it, in our interview on your podcast, is this notion of home, So where do you find yourself most comfortable these days? Like where do you consider home these days?
I consider home. So there's that old saying, "Home is where the heart is," right? And oftentimes, as you grow and you deal with stuff and you heal and you evolve yourself, your heart changes, and it's calling you somewhere else. So 100% where I am right now in Bali, I call it my home. I got called here. I felt it when I was going through my journey that you need to leave Sydney, because Sydney was, like I said, for me, the representation of what Sydney was just hustle, bustle, chaotic, my party years, all of that stuff. So when I started to, like I said, work through that, I said, I need a more spiritual life. I need a life where I can just slow down. I can actually focus on myself, because being someone who is out there supporting other people, it can be easy for you to put yourself last. And so I've flipped the script on that. I said, I need to put myself first, Because if I'm at my best, I'm at my healthiest, I'm at my most, knowledgeable, continuing learning and growing, then I can help someone else from my best. Because you know what, when you're helping someone and you're at your bottom, you can only give them what you've got. So if you raise your level, raise your level, raise your level, you can do that. And so that's why I call Bali my home. Of course, when I go back and I visit my parents and stuff like that, it's nice to visit there. And, I feel at home there, but I'm only ever there for maybe a week or two at max because, again, it's not my home. And it's nice to visit, but definitely when I leave and come back, I feel the difference within myself that this is my home.
Hmm. So how long have you been in Bali now?
I've been in Bali for 3.5 years. And literally right after I moved here, I met my beautiful partner. And I've been with him just over 3 years as well now. So it's been a great journey. And that's another reason why I call it home, because we've got a life here. We've got our dogs. We've got our friends. We've just got a nice, cruisy, chill life together.
Hmm. So, so when you got to Bali, it was for you a change of pace, a change of lifestyle, and I can imagine a lot of healing took place there before you started to settle in. Do you want to talk a little bit about that process? Your connection with Bali and how that actually informed your own healing journey, and also now your work.
Sure, sure, sure. I mean, I've been to Bali before I moved here, like about at least half a dozen times. I would come here every year or every 2 years and do like a yoga retreat or just a week where I could focus on myself, and I'd go to see different healers and all this stuff. And every time I came here, I felt completely taken care of. I mean, the Indonesian people, the Balinese people, they're very lovely and kind people. And so, I'm sure people out there can attest where, if you're living in a big city, you can walk down the street and people don't want to give you eye contact. They don't want to say hello to you. They're on the move. They're going here. Maybe they're afraid to talk to you. So this is what happens a lot in big cities, right? But where I am here, I walk down the street and I have the beautiful people. They're waving at me. They say hello. They say "Selamat pagi," good morning, and it just feels really nice and kind. So I've always felt, like I said, first of all, like that's the kind of vibe I want. I want to walk down the street. I want to smile at people. I want to talk to people. I want to communicate and feel like, okay, like this, like I don't want to walk around feeling like I've got to put on a face because I don't want anyone to see the real me. I can be the real me here. So yeah, before I came here, I started my healing journey. But of course, over the past 3.5 years, that's continued. I've allowed myself to delve into different modalities, different areas of things. And because I have time and space, and I'm focused on my mental health and my wellness and my physical health and all areas of life, I kind of see myself as a multifaceted person, because we all are. We have to look at all of the different areas of our life and go, where do I need to work on something? Where do I need to heal something? Where do I need to grow in an area? What's the transformation that I can make internally that's going to change the external world for me as well? So coming here, it allowed me to have the time and space just to reflect and to think about things, to be self-aware of myself and go, okay, I can work on that. And then the great thing about Bali is there is so many different, like I said, modalities, and there's a lot of, it's a digital nomad place, so you can meet a lot of people from all around the world who have their little skill set or their learnings, and so sometimes you can just be thinking of something, and then you might meet someone down the street who it literally can help you in that area. So it's been a magical kind of journey that I've been able to go on, and it kind of led me to getting to a place where, like, I now am the CEO of a company called QueerQuest, and we're about to launch the platform, because QueerQuest basically is a online platform for people in the queer community. So you can come here and you can have coaches and healers and trainers from all around the world in all the different areas of being queer, and help you to, like I said, evolve and heal and transform yourself. So me getting on my journey of that allowed me to really look at myself as a multifaceted person, and realize that as queer people, if we can work on one area and we see slight differences, what can we do if we keep working on the different areas? And what's that going to do for our happiness? What's that going to do for our fulfillment? What's that going to do for our own, self-worth and our, self-love as well? Because at the end of the day, I think people just want to feel loved and to love other people. And so being in a place like Bali allowed me to get to a place where I could evolve myself, my business, and then my relationships as well.
Yeah, I'm, one of your fans for this very exciting platform that I heard about, from you as well previously, Queer Quest, and I can't wait to see it get off the ground and see all the good work that it's going to do, to bring more wellness, more, empowerment, in health, and wellness for especially for our queer community at large. So can you talk a little bit about your approach, when it comes to your coaching? I know that you have some very customized programs and also some group programs as well. Can you talk a little bit about that? What is your approach?
Yes, yes, yes. So my approach to anyone who wants to, to work with me, wants to start working with me, is it's a very person-centered approach. It is you have your set of, concerns or the things that you have struggled with or the areas that you want to grow within, right? Now, if I looked at it and said, hey, look, we've got to follow the process for every single person the exact same way, that just wouldn't work because, again, we're multifaceted people. We all have different experiences. We come from different cultures, different backgrounds, and certain things that we want to focus on might not be the same for the next person, right? Of course, as queer people, there is a lot of similarities in some of the struggles that we go through. But again, with intersectionality, being from different races or different cultural backgrounds, that can be very different for you. So if I was to say, look, there's a one size fits all for everyone, that just wouldn't be me, because I know for myself, like I am like I said, I'm a very complex and multifaceted person. So for me, it's all about getting to know the people that I'm working with, really understanding them, but then coming with the skill sets and the learnings that I have, right? I love, the world of NLP, which is, neuro linguistics programming. And it's a way of, like I said, like tapping into you being the creator, you being the God within yourself, and helping you to uncover your greatness as well. Oftentimes in life, we walk down the street and something might slap us in the face or knock us in the face, and we might have blinders on. So basically, it's about peeling off the layers, peeling off the masks, and coming back to your most authentic self. Because when you're at your most authentic, you know what you need to do. You know the right course of action. And of course, when you're at your most authentic, you're obviously at your most kind, you're your most compassionate, you're your most loving as well. So it's about helping people get back to their authenticity as well by, just like I said, really understanding them and knowing the right way to get people to uncover that for themselves as well. Yes, I do a lot of one-on-one work. And of course, lately I've spent a lot of my time on building QueerQuest, which, like I said, is an online platform where people will take, online courses so they can do it at their own pace. So I've been creating a lot of courses myself. I'm working with, other, queer, leaders such as yourself, Desiree. Of course, we're talking as well behind the scenes about you potentially coming on QueerQuest as well. So it's been a lot of that as well. Of course, as the actual platform gets launched at the very end of this month, August 2024, there will be a group program that will be coming from it, and it's all literally looking at the 12 areas of your life that we have, and having a single month focus on each area. So it might be, your physical health, it might be your mental health, your emotional health, your relationships with, your intimate partner, your social relationships. It could be your cultural, identity. It could be your queer identity. It could be your financial identity. It could be your career, your entrepreneurial identity, right? We've got 12 different areas. And so basically the group program is designed for a focus on each one. So over a 12-month period, you get to see growth, healing, and transformation in every single area, which means how far can you evolve and shift in 12 months if you're focused on every single area of yourself as a multifaceted queer human?
Yeah, and it's so exciting because I see this as having such a potential that can support the entire life of a queer journey. Not
Correct.
just when you're coming out or when you're having a midlife crisis or you're having some issues in your relationship. It can just be a all encompassing really platform form that can support queers through their whole life. You know,
Totally.
from
And that's
from when
that's
they
the that's the whole yeah, that's the
yeah
reason why I did that, is because I wanted to, like, I realized that, like, as a single person, like as in like me being like a one person, I can only do so much. I can only have my voice, But I also know that my voice might not be the voice that taps into you specifically as a queer person, because like I said, you might not fully identify with me, right? I'm a gay man. I am a gender fluid person, and I'm also a queer person as well, right? But again, you might be in a different subsection of this beautiful queer community, right? Because queer is anything in the LGBTQIA plus community, anything on the sexuality spectrum, anything on the gender spectrum, and anything on the relationship spectrum. So meaning, people who are polyamorous or in thruples, right? Like those people are part of our beautiful community as well. So really, like I said, I might not be the one that you relate to, but the great thing about having other queer leaders and experts in their areas is that you're going to find someone who you will relate to, who you can connect with. And the fantastic thing about it is that it's such a crazy affordable, price for people to sign up to for a year's worth of learning and growth for only, $199, right? It's super cheap and affordable because I wanted it to be available to every single person out there, right? And the great thing about what we do here is that once someone signs up, we also are going to be sponsoring people in less fortunate areas. So we're going to be able to, with that, we're going to be able to say, look, someone who's maybe in the Philippines or in a country, like I said, that may not be able to get those resources together. We can, like I said, support them and give them their own access as well. So it's kind of like a buy one get one. So it's almost like what I would class as giving back. It's like you're getting and you're giving to someone else who really needs that as well.
Wow, that's great. So it sounds like there's like some kind of scholarship program that's been being
That was the word
implemented.
I was looking for, basically. Yeah, we're going to
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
giving those
That's
to
that,
people. Yeah.
that's so good to hear because a lot of these tools and these programs for especially for the LGBT community are mostly in the West, right? In North America or in Europe. So I think Asia, where you are, is definitely a very, very underserved region, you know? And so I think it's so important that you're actually operating outside of out from Asia, and then targeting the whole world, and then giving back to the region as well, because as we know, most Asian countries have a lower currency rate compared to the rest of
They
the
have a
first
lower
world.
currency rate,
Yeah,
and they also it's also like they're probably some of the people that really need it the most coming into
exactly,
families.
exactly.
Like I said, you understand what it's like being part of an Asian family growing up in that kind of time frame as well. You've been told to follow the path, do things for the family, kind of put yourself on the back burner. But we all know that we can't hide ourselves, and it causes. This is why the mental health numbers for our community are 3 times higher, because we're often suppressing ourselves, internalizing our emotions, and they come out in like I said, in these unhealthy ways for ourselves.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Wow, that's great. So do you have like a some kind of time frame for each of the program, or they're kind of all over the map? Like how long is a program, for example?
Yeah, so anyone who comes to Queer Quest, like I said, you can come in and you can select which quest that you want to take. We call them quests. So you're going to go on a quest. Now, they could be anything from 5 days up to 30 days. Some of them will end up eventually being maybe 45 days. But for the majority of things, it's probably, 1 or 2 weeks. So you go on something and it might be focused on your confidence. And so you go on it and you learn the lesson each day, you implement or the learning or answer yourself the deep question. And as you go on, it should build on that as well. So over the 2 weeks, you learn how to build your confidence as a queer person. Or it might be, again, it might be something to do with, you're struggling and you really want to find a partner. You might go on the journey of dating one or relationship one, right? Or same thing with your physical health. Maybe you're struggling with some unhealthy habits like I did in the past. You can go on a journey of like understanding like why you've been making those choices, but how we can shift those as well. And then again, of
Mm-hmm,
course, the next level of having that group program means that you also get the accountability and you also get to build a community, because one of the major things about it is that I want to build a community in the LGBTQA plus the queer space that is coming from a place of love and coming from a place of healing and coming from a place of growth, because I've been doing, like I said, this for quite some time now. And one of the major things that I find from a lot of queer people is that they find that they struggle with feeling included in this community. They find that some parts of this community can be, they say judgmental or toxic as well. And that can be true, But it also is a thing when we work on ourselves and we go into an environment, we can create the space that we want to have. So this is a major reason is that I also want to make people go, I can actually find my tribe. I can find people who are just like me, who are going to connect with me, who are going to, love me for who I am, because that's the core of what everyone's doing at this place, is trying to be authentic, trying to heal themselves, trying to grow themselves as well.
Yeah, that's great, and I totally agree that it's a much needed space for the LGBT community. Like for us to, like you said, find our tribe. And then we cheer each other on. On our journey of evolution, our journey of healing. And that is also why I started Queer Love Light in the first place, as my
Mm-hmm.
podcast. So it's so refreshing to meet somebody like you, and talk to somebody like you at this very I would say turning point of your life work as well, where you are at the cusp of launching something so groundbreaking in a way. Yeah. For the world, and I can't wait for Queer Quest to really be seen on the map. We all have to start somewhere, and which brings to the question of, like, how many programs are you planning on launching with Queer Quest this month?
So we're going to start out, and we're going to have 3 quests to start with on there. So we're going to have one which is basically a bit of an understanding around Queer Quest, and also like how you can get the best out of it, and understanding like the 12 different areas that that we are going to be focusing on when it comes to the queer wellness wheel of life. I call it the Rainbow Renaissance, the queer wellness wheel of life. It's going to be that's that one's a larger program that I'm working on, and that'll be coming out in a few months. But we'll be launching with 3, and every single month we'll be bringing out at least one new quest for people to go on. So, like I said, you sign up for monthly or for a yearly program, and the great thing is that you'll find something new coming every month. As I evolve and work with more people out there, like yourself, Desiree, we'll be able to add more and more and more. It's just it takes time at the beginning stage. I can't
Of
start with
course.
100 because we've got to get people on board to create and to see the vision as well. So yeah, so starting with 3, because that's a great start. But like I said, every single month there will be a brand new quest, at least, either by myself or by another queer expert such as yourself as well.
Right, right, right. So is it like you? It sounds like you subscribe to, is it like a membership, and then you can have access to these programs, or do you subscribe to the programs individually?
So you subscribe to Queer Quest. So there's 2 levels of subscription. There's a VIP, so Queer Quest VIP membership or Queer Quest Pro membership. So a VIP is getting access to all of the quests that are available. So you're going on there and you being able to do the pre-recorded online courses. Like I said, that are either 5 days, 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, or eventually it'll be a 45-day one as well. And you can take that at your own pace. Sometimes you might find that there's a lesson that you can do 2 lessons a week, or sometimes you might be going, I need to put this into my daily routine. See, myself, I love to do things that I can do daily, at least 5-6 times a week, that I can consistently learn and grow from. So I hold myself to that kind of a standard, but not everyone needs to, right? You might go, okay, this might be 14 days, but I might do that 2 or 3 times a week, and it might take you a little longer. The great thing about having the membership is that it's at your own pace. So that's the VIP membership, but there's the Pro membership, which also includes the monthly, workshops, which is what I call the group program. So you get access to all of those quests, but you also get access to coming to a live workshop every month, which is about 3 hours with me, and we focus on one specific area, and we get you really attuned to take that whole month on board and go, okay, I'm going to focus on my physical health this month. These are the things that I know that have been causing me the issues. These are the things that I need to work through emotionally, etc., and go from there. And of course, there's going to be an area for people who want to take that next level, and they can discuss with one of our team about actually maybe getting a one-on-one coach as well. So the people who are going to be joining us, like who are going to be the experts, you'll be able to find maybe a coach that you relate to, and you can get some additional coaching from them as well. So it's about trying to support people in the way that works best for them as well.
Right, right. Yeah, I was actually about to ask you that question of whether there's that option of doing one-on-one coaching, and I think the program is perfect to for people to get to know the coach and then have to see if they resonate with one coach to the other and then
Yeah.
find their own fit.
They can
Yeah.
take that their quest first, and maybe at the end of
Hmm.
the quest, like, wow, this person is my person I need to talk to, right? And that's the
Yeah.
great thing. So we'll align you with the right people, and but we'll also we'll make sure that when we get on the call with you, we know what your things is, and maybe we'll suggest 2 or 3 people, and you might be that person, or it might be that person and someone else, right? Because we want to
Right.
make sure that we also from our data, what we know about you and what you're working on, we're going to give you a couple of options so that you can maybe like I said, figure out the right one for you.
Yeah. And sometimes people need to work on different aspects of their lives at the same time, physical, emotional, and it's all interconnected, right?
Totally.
So I think that's a really good approach to it as well. Yeah. So you're sounds like you're really, really busy. I'm sure, every month you have to churn out so many programs and all that. So I thank you for taking the time to be on the show today. Um,
Cool.
so do you have a message for the audience out there? What would you like them to know in this day and age? As LGBTs and people, and also just navigating this very, very uncertain times that we're in today.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you touched on the fact that it's uncertain times, right? Because I know that in different parts of the world, it can be very different for people who are queer, right? You could be living in the US, and like I said, a lot of things have gone backwards there for people in our community, and we're struggling with that, right? You could be somewhere in, like the Middle East, where certain things can actually cause you physical harm, even worse than that. And that, like I said, we hear stories all the time of people who are getting attacked or even killed, around the world, who are part of our beautiful queer community. But of course, there are places that, of course, it's better for you as well. Like, I've traveled a lot around the world, and I've been to many places, and some areas I feel very safe and feel like, wow, like this is a space like for me. But then there are other places where you're like, wow, I don't think I ever want to come back here because it doesn't feel safe for someone who is like me. So, what do I want to say to people? It's like, it does get better, right? Like for me, if I was that little boy, over 16, 17 years ago, who was contemplating suicide, and I can get to a place where I've had to deal, like, or where I've still gone through a lot of shit, but I've come out the other side of it, and now I can support and help other people. I know that it can get better for everyone else as well. So I have a little thing that I have on my a tattoo. I've got quite a few tattoos, but one of them says, "You've got this," because we always have. You've always made it through every single shitty day that you've ever had in the past. Every bad day, every hard time, you have made it through. And you're going to make it through every single time because you've got this. You need to look at yourself in the mirror sometimes, and instead of criticizing yourself or looking at your insecurities, start saying some things that are kind and loving to yourself. You know, over the years, I've realized how different my self talk is than it used to be. I used to be very critical, very negative. I was a perfectionist. If I didn't live up to those things, then it would be, I beat myself up for it. These days, I realize how compassionate I am towards myself. I'm not a perfect person. I make mistakes, right? I am, perfectly imperfect or imperfectly perfect, whatever you want to call it. I'm a human being, right?
Yeah.
And I have goals that I'm working towards, and I'm certain things I'm trying to work through. And yet there are times where I slip up. I don't make it right. For example, with my health and fitness, you know, I can be kind of quite good with being on a strict diet, but then sometimes someone puts in front of me a donut, and I'll have 3 of them because I have the instant gratification. And then, in the past, I would have beaten myself going, oh my God. Then I go to myself, look, you've worked hard. You're continuing to get there. You're a work in progress. You've got this. And then I work on how can I make a better choice in the future? What do I need to do to incorporate something, right? So, like I said, don't expect to be perfect. Just expect to have some progress. It's progress over perfection. So I guess if there's something I want to say to people is trust yourself, be kind to yourself, be compassionate to yourself, know how you can learn from those experiences. And if you don't know how to do that, find someone who can support you and help you in that journey, which is again why we've created QueerQuest, because I know so many people out there need that extra support, need someone who can help guide them. And why not get that guidance from people within our community who actually have been there and done that and struggled the same way that you have as well.
Hmm. Love it, love it, love it. I love everything you're sharing, Cristiano. Very inspiring, and you are a testament to that. You got this, you know. So, so I know we know that you speak the truth, and you're always living your authentic self, which is why you're so good at what you do. And you have such a big heart, that you want to bring this to more people in the world. So I really, really, really thank you and congratulate you on this very, very exciting times that you are going to be embarking on with your team. And hopefully I'll be able to be part of that journey as well in some small way. Um, and so, um, before we wrap things up, just curious, like, do you have like a mentor, a teacher in your life, or some high level being, spiritual being or what have you, that you looked up to and really, help you pull through, some maybe difficult times and inspired you the most?
Oof, I've had many different mentors throughout my life because I believe that there's a power of having mentorship or having someone that you can look up to and go, okay, like there's a part of you that I see that I want to be like, right? And then figuring out how can I model that behavior or what do I need to work on in order to get there. So definitely throughout my life, I've had many, many mentors. But the thing that I like to, focus on these days is like trying to recognize and celebrate the people in the queer community who've paved the way before us. Because I can only imagine 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, even 30 amount of years back, how much harder it would have been for them. For those people who actually took those steps forward in being authentic, in trying to love the people that they love openly, and to deal with a lot of the struggles. Like I said, it would have been 10 to 100 times harder than it is today. So if I'm in a place where I'm looking for some strength, I go, where I am today, I've got it a hell of a lot easier than those people who have paved the way before me. So it's not a specific person, but I kind of like to think of it as a colloquial queer energy. When I'm looking for some strength, I go, these people fought for me to be where I am. It's my time to fight for people to be where I want them to be as well.
Yeah, that's really, really so heartfelt, and well put. It's so true. We're building on the blocks that have been put, as a foundation beneath us, so that we can actually stand tall, and hopefully, sit stable and secure, in order for us to keep climbing the heights, that we are all supposed to, to live up to our true potential, and help to pave the way for the rest of the folks that are coming after us, and I think Queer Quest is building on that, and I think it's really an important platform, especially to create and nurture and nourish, develop a more healthy environment, for queers to thrive on. We are now, living in very, very good times compared to, as you said, what our fathers and mothers and sisters and brothers had to live through. But it's still a very, very dangerous world out there, for a lot of queers. And even in first world countries, we have youth, struggling with suicide, depression, anxiety. So I think Queer Quest is coming at a time, it's actually needed most. Ironically, materialistically, we are much better than the times before us. But still, I feel that we still have quite a ways to go.
Yeah, we certainly do have a way to go. And like I said, this is the same thing I said before. Focus on progress, not perfection, right? Like it would be amazing if we could have it all today or tomorrow, but that's just unrealistic to work for where the world is at. But if we can make progress and we can work on so like for example, the reason why I love the whole idea of QueerQuest is like we're actually working on the queer community one person at a time. And what happens is when you build that, like imagine when we get to 100 or 200 or 500,000 or 10 million people in the queer community who have gone through that work, and we're fighting the fight together. It's like we know how to handle it, and we're not fighting fire with fire. We're going to have fire with some water or some ice, right? We know how to put out the fire instead of flaming it even further. That's what I want us to do, because sometimes right now we're there with the pitchforks, but we're getting the backlash, and some of us are getting hurt because of it. Whereas how can we go to the fight knowing that we're going to win? You know,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
again, why Quick Rest is so great, and also, one of the reasons why we want to highlight experts from all around the world. Like I said, I want some of these experts who are from the past to come on board, and we're going to learn from some of these people who've actually lived those experiences. Right, as the platform gets bigger, we're going to have bigger names in our community who are going to want to come on board. Right, it's hard to get the best of the best when you're a startup. You have to build up. So that's why I feel like it is a journey that people can go on for years and years and years, maybe their entire life. Right, because as our community grows, like I said, the experts, the more and more people will come into it, and it's going to be like it's one of those things, like rolling down the hill. It's just going to build more and more momentum.
Yeah,
You know.
absolutely. And I love how you said that it starts with every single one of us. I go back to the one of the quotes that I love most, from Gandhi, be the change that you want to see in the world. So it really, really starts from each and of each and every one of us to look within and to heal what needs to be healed, so that collectively then we are healing together to make the world a better place. So thank you so much, Cristiano, for everything you're doing and bringing to the world and to your community. And I can't wait to be part of that beautiful healing movement. And I thank you once again, for taking the time out of your very, very busy schedule to be on this show. And I look forward to more interviews with you. Um, Especially, after I think the program is launched, I'd love to do a follow up with you, and then we can always also share heart touching stories, from there as well. So thank you again, Cristiano, and I thank everybody who's tuning in. And I hope to bring you another episode with Cristiano soon within the year. And I can't wait to give you exciting, exciting updates on that front. So until then, be queer, be love, and be the light that you all are. Thank you and bye.
Bye.